Hi everyone, a very good morning and a warm welcome to the next session in Java programming language. In the previous session, we have seen about access specifier keywords, that is public, private and protected, and we also covered the topic of usage of this keyword in Java programming language. So this keyword can be used to refer the current class instance variables. It is used to invoke the current class methods implicitly, and it is used to execute the current class constructor, and we have another three uses of this keyword. And in today's class we are going to deal about usage of super keyword in Java. This and super are the two important keywords in Java through which we can make access to current class variables, current class methods, current class constructors. At the same time, super class variables, super class methods, super class constructors. Right? So let us move to the slide of super keyword, where we can find the usage of super keyword in Java. Right? So this is the slide what we have seen in the previous session. Right? Keep one thing in your mind. When we want to access current class variables, current class methods, current class constructors, we go for this keyword. When we want to access parent class variables, parent class methods, parent class constructors, we go for super keyword. Right? Only two things. If it is the same class, we use this keyword. If it is the super class, we use super keyword. So in yesterday's class, we have seen that when we use this keyword, it is used to access the current class variables or instance variables, the current class methods, the current class constructors. So when we go for the super keyword, it is used to access, just a second. Right, I think super keyword was not included in the PPT. Don't worry, I will show it by writing on a notepad. Right, keep these two things in your mind. If it is this keyword, right, I am going to show the difference between this keyword and super keyword. Right, so when we use this keyword, we can access current class variables. In case of super keyword, we can access super class variables. Right, and then by using this keyword, we can access current class methods. By using super keyword, we can access super class methods. And at the same time, by using this keyword, we can access current class constructors. We can call current class constructors, and by using super keyword, we can call super class constructors. Right? So these are the main three differences between super keyword and this keyword. Right? So we all know the concept of inheritance. Where one class can achieve the properties of another class, right? If it is a class, right? And if we have another class, and inside this particular class B, if we want to access all the properties of class A, then simply we use the concept of inheritance, right? If there are two classes, class A and class B, if inside class B, if we want to access all the properties of class A, then we go for the concept called as inheritance. So by in the keyword which is used for inheritance in Java is extends. I'm sorry. Extends is the keyword which is used in Java in order to go for inheritance, right? So when we write the statement as class B extends class A, that means we are going to inherit all the properties, all the public and protected properties of class A. We all know the three things: public, protected, and private. If it is public, it can be accessed everywhere. If it is protected, it can be accessed in the same class and the subclass. And if it is private, we cannot access it outside of that class. So the people who don't understand what is the use of this keyword, what are these public, private, and protected keywords, right? Please go through the previous class, which was kept in the YouTube channel of our college. So please go through that class, and then you will have a great idea on uses of this keyword. At the same time, uh, the keywords public, private, and protected, right? So this is the concept of inheritance. The picture we are seeing in green color, concept of inheritance, single inheritance we call it as. And in single inheritance, class A can be called as superclass and class B can be called as subclass. So when we are in the class B, and if we want to access the elements of class A, then we go for the usage of super keyword, right? I will show it by using an example. Don't worry, I will show it as, using an example. So keep these three things in your mind. So this keyword is used to access the current class variables, current class methods, and current class constructors, whereas the super keyword is used to access the super class variables, super class methods, and super class constructors. So let us see how we can access the superclass variables, superclass methods, and superclass constructors by using a simple Java program here. I think this was the last session's program where we have used this keyword here, right? This keyword we have used here, which made a call to all the three methods. Let us see first this keyword and then we can follow. Pressing on control 1, right? Just a second. Right, if you observe here, right, I just created an object for only class A, right? I have created an object for class A here, right? If we create an object for class A, by default, if there is any constructor inside the class which is having 0 parameters, will get executed. Because here, while creating an object, I don't pass any parameters. If you observe here, I don't pass any parameters. So a constructor with 0 parameters will get executed. So whenever we try to execute this constructor, immediately we found a statement like this of 10. This of 10 means we have to execute the current class another constructor which is going to take a single integer value as a parameter. So then the control will go to this constructor. This is the constructor which is going to take a single integer value as a parameter. So the control will goes to this particular constructor. And whenever the control tries to execute this constructor, immediately the first statement inside the constructor is this of 10 comma 20, which means again we need to find the same class constructor which is taking two integer values as a parameters. Then the control will comes here. When the control comes here, it will execute the body of this particular thing. If it executing the body, it will print constructor with two parameters. Now the control will never go to the next thing. The control will go where it comes. The control has come to this place from a of int a. So it will print this system dot out dot println constructor with one parameter. And then the control will print the constructor with 0 parameter statement, which was in the first constructor, right? So that's why we got the output constructor with 2 parameters as a first line, constructor with 1 parameter as a second line, and constructor with a 0 parameters as a third line, right? So here, So in order to access the same class constructor, we use this keyword. Now in today's session, we are going to see about the usage of super keyword, right? Let us consider, let us take two things here, right? Let us start with a class A, right? And inside class A, we have, for example, we have a variable a comma b, and then we have a method m, right? This method will print, good morning, right? This method will print good morning, where the value of, for example, where the value of a is 10. Let us take only one value inside the method of inside class A. So the value of a is 10, and then I have one more class, class B. I want to inherit the properties of class A. So extends A, class B extends A, and here I am going to take the same value, that is int A equal to 20. So there are two variables. The names of the two variables are same, A, but the value of A inside class A is 10 and the value of A inside class B is 20. And inside class B, I am going to take the same method. So this concept is called as method overriding, right? If two classes are under under inheritance relation, and if the two classes consist of a method which is having the same name, then the concept is called as method overriding. I will explain it later. Right, next one, system dot out dot print ln, right? System dot out dot print ln. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Right. So this is my complete. This is my classes which are under inheritance relation, where the classes contains same variable, where the value is different. Classes contains same method, where the output of those methods will be different. So if we execute the method m, which was present in class A, it will print good morning. And if we execute the method m, which was present in class B, it will print good afternoon. Right? So now let us start writing the main method. For example, if it is class m, the main method in Java is, right? The main method in Java is public static void main. Just a second, void main, and we are going to take string args as parameter, right? And then inside the main method, let us create an object for class B. So class B, I'm sorry. Let us create an object for class B, B space obj equal to new B, right? obj dot m, right? obj dot m. So it will execute the method m which was present in class B, and I want to print system dot out dot print ln. I want to print the value of a. Simply a will not print that one. So if I want to print the value of a, I need to give obj.a, because a was stored in a space called obj, right? So this is the thing what will happen generally. So we have created an object for class B, and we have we try to execute the method m which was present in class B, and we try to print the value of a inside class B, right? So let us save this one. We have to save this one as m.java, because the main method was located in m, and then I tried to compile the program. So there were no errors. It was compiled successfully, and now I am trying to run the program. So if I try to run the program, see, I got two things here. 20 as an output. Good afternoon as an output, because we have executed the method m. So the method m inside B will print good afternoon, right? That is the output. And then we have printed the value of a. So obj.a means, it belongs to class B. So class B, inside class B, the value of a will be printed. So the value of a inside class B is 20. That's why it has printed 20, right? So now let us see how we can make use of super keyword in order to access the superclass methods from the subclass methods, right? So now let us have a look at here. Let us try to print something. System dot out dot print ln, right? System dot out dot print ln a. So if we want to print the value of a, so let us delete these two statements. Let us rewrite the statements again. Don't worry. So this method will print the value of a, right? And let us see. Let us rewrite this one. This method also will print the value of a. Right. So there are two methods which are having a variable a. The value of a inside class A is 10 and the value of a inside class B is 20. So both the methods are going to print the value of a. So that is what we have done here. So if I make a call to obj.m where obj belongs to class B, if I compile and execute the code, it will print 20. Just a second. If I execute the code, it will print 20 because we have created object for class B and we try to access the method m. Now, if I want to print the variable, the value of inside class A, the value of A inside class A, I need to just, I need to just use the super keyword here. If I use super.a, if I use super.a inside system.out.println, it will print the value of A inside class A because A is the superclass of B here. So we have written a statement here. We have written one statement here. Class B extends A, which means A is a superclass and B is a subclass. So here we are asking to print superclass A value. That's why it will print 10. So let us see, let us compile this one and let us run this one. If you observe, it has printed 20 first and then it has printed 10 next. So because we have used A here, the value of A is 20 inside class B, and we have used super.a here. So the value of A inside class A is 10. So it has printed 20 followed by 10. Now, how can we access the superclass method? So here we have executed the m. I want to execute the m which was present in class A, right? If I want to execute the m which was present in class A, simply I can use super.m. Let us compile this one first and then run this one. If you observe, we have got a 10, 20 and 10. How it is possible? This is possible because we have used super.m, which means which will execute the superclass method m. If superclass method m is executed, it will print the value of a. Here the value of a is 10. That's why it has printed 10. And then we have printed the value of a. This a value belongs to class B. That's why it has printed 20. And again, inside the method m, we have one more statement, system.out.println super.a, which means we have to print the value of superclass variable a. So the superclass variable a is having the value 10. So it will print 10, 20 and 10. Right? So this is how the super keyword is used to access the superclass variables. The super keyword is used to access the superclass methods. And I have said one more point. Super keyword is used to access the superclass constructors. Please refer to this one. Right? If you want to access superclass variables, superclass methods, and superclass constructors, we need to go for super keyword. If we want to access current class variables, current class methods, current class constructors, we need to go for this keyword. Right? So we have completed these two things. Right? We have completed these two things, how to access superclass variables and how to access superclass methods. Now, we need to know how the super keyword is used to access the superclass constructor. Right? So let us write one more code here. Let us take one more Java program. right? Inside this Java program, let us start writing how super keyword is used to access the superclass constructor. Here I am defining class A, where A contains a method called as M, and this M method, I'm sorry, we are dealing with constructors, not methods. So A is a constructor here because the class name and method name are same, and A does not contain any return type, right? So what this method will do is it will print system dot out dot print ln, system dot out dot print ln. Just a second, I'm sorry. System dot out dot print ln, right? It will print, for example, electronics. It will print electronics. Electronics, and the same thing inside class B. For example, we have a class B, right? We have a class B which extends class B extends class A, and inside class A, if I have a constructor, and this particular constructor will print communication, right? So it will print communication. If I have one more class, class C, which is extending B, right? And this particular class will print engineering system dot out dot println engineering, right? So there are three classes here, total A, B, and C. A class constructor will print electronics, and B class constructor will print communication, and C class constructor will print engineering. Now I want to write a main class. For example, if the main class is M1, so the main method inside Java is public static void main string args, right? Inside the main method of Java, let us start creating objects for class A. For example, if I have created an object for class A, it will execute the constructor which was present in class A, right? So let us save this one first as m1.java, right? m1.java, and then compile it and then run it. So it has printed electronics. We all know if we use a constructor, it will print electronics, right? So now let us start using super keyword here. Super, right? Let us start using super keyword. In the last class also I said that if you want to use the super keyword, please use it as a first statement inside the constructor. If I use it super keyword here, right? I am going to add the super keyword here also. Super keyword, right? Now let us start. Let us compile the thing and run the thing. So there is no change here. Why there is no change? There is no superclass for class A. That's why we don't get any change here. Let us start writing something here. Class C space obj equal to new C. Now let us see what will happen. Compile the thing and run the thing. If I run the thing, it has printed electronics communication engineering, right? So we have only created for, see here, we have only created for object for class C. So the class C object, when we create an object for class C, the constructor inside C will get executed. Whenever the constructor inside class C is being executed, it has found the first statement as super. So that means it has to go for the superclass constructor. And if the superclass, if it went for the superclass constructor, that is class B's constructor, and class B's constructor also contains the super keyword, And this particular super, again, class B will look for the super class A super keyword. So inside class A also we have one constructor, and class A contains the super keyword. When the control will searches for the super class for class A, there is no super class for class A. And then, so because of there is no super class for class A, it will execute the next lines of the constructor. So it will print electronics, and then it will print communication, and then it will print engineering. So this is how we can access the superclass constructor from the base class constructor. And there is one important point here. Let us start deleting the super keyword in all the constructors, and let us start executing, right? Let us start executing the code again. So I have deleted the super keyword. I just compile the code, and then I just running the code. If I run the code also, I am getting the same output, electronics and communication engineering, right? So this is why, because if you write a super keyword inside the constructor, I request all of you, please make a note of this one. If you write a super keyword inside the constructor, you have to write it as a first statement inside the constructor. That is, for example, if C is a constructor, if you want to write the super keyword, just write the super keyword here. It will be good. But if you want to write the super keyword, don't write it any other places inside the constructor. Don't write it at any other places inside the constructor. If you want to write the super keyword, just make the super keyword as a first statement inside the constructor, right? So don't write it in any other places. That is a main first and important point. And one more next important point, please make a note. If you write a super keyword inside the constructor, it is okay. But if you don't mention a super keyword inside the constructor, Java virtual machine or Java compiler will add the super keyword for each and every constructor. If you write it or not, Java compiler will add automatically, right? So if you write, it is okay. If you don't write, JVM will add a super keyword for each and every constructor. So which means if you create an object for subclass, the superclass constructor will also get executed, right? So it is better to write super keyword, or if you don't write the super keyword, Java compiler will automatically write the super keyword for all the constructors. That's why we have created an object for class B. We have only created an object for class B. So we have created object for class B. Although we have created only object for class C, it is executing the constructor of class A, constructor of class B, and constructor of class C. How it is possible? It is only possible because Java compiler is adding the super keyword as a first statement for each and every constructor, right? So this will happen to any other constructors and any other classes also. So let us see what happens if we create an object for class B. Let us save this one, compile this one, and run this one. So if I create an object for class B, it is printing only electronics and communication, right? Why it is printing only electronics and communication? In the sense, we have created an object for class B. It will execute class B's constructor, which don't have super keyword, but JVM will add the super keyword. So it will go for executing the class A's constructor. Class A's constructor, we don't have super keyword, but JVM will add the super keyword. So it will searches for the super class for class A. If you see the declaration of class A, it is an independent class. It does not have any super class. But if you observe the declaration of class B, it is having a parent class, that is class A. So whenever super keyword is encountered by the JVM inside class A's constructor, it will searches for the super class, and it don't find the super class. That's why it is printing electronics, and then it will print communication. So if we create an object for class B, it is printing only electronics and communication, right? So, and the same thing happens for class A. If you create an object for class B, it will only execute class A's constructor, because A does not have any super class. It will print only electronics, right? So this is how the super keyword will behave, right? So let us see Let us see the next keyword. Right, let us see the next keyword in Java, and one more important keyword in Java, that is final keyword. Right, so we can use this final keyword before a variable, before a method, before a class. So we can use the final keyword before a variable, before a method, and before a class. So when we use this final keyword before a variable, the value of that variable will become constant. And when we use this final keyword before a method, we cannot override the method. When we use a final keyword before a class, we cannot inherit the class. Let us see. Let us see here. Let us see in the program. If you observe here, class B is inheriting class A, class C is inheriting class B. So for example, if I have mentioned class A with final keyword, and I'm saving the code, compiling the code, and you can see here, cannot inherit from final A. So that is what they have mentioned here. If you define a class with final keyword, we cannot inherit. That means we cannot use the properties of that class in any other classes. You can see here, cannot inherit from final A, class B extends A. So we are getting some error at line number 9, which is saying that line number 9 means class B is trying to use the properties of class A. But when compiler sees that class A is added with the final keyword, so it will not allow any other classes to extend or to inherit. So let us see if what happens if you use the same final keyword here. If you use the same final keyword here, right, now class B cannot be inherited. So no one can use the class B. So let us see, let us compile this one. Right, you can, if you compile this one, you are getting an error at line number 17, which is stating that cannot inherit from final B. So that means the class B is defined with the final keyword, and because of it is defined with the final keyword, no one can inherit class B. That's what they had mentioned. We cannot inherit class B. And this is how final keyword is used along with the classes. So if you want to make a class, do not if you want to make a class as final, just use final keyword along with the definition of the class, so that no other class can inherit that particular final class, right? And let us see the program which we have seen previously. There is m.java, right? So I have said earlier, if there are two methods where the name of the methods is same, you can find here, I'm highlighting this one. If there are two methods which is having the same name, if the two methods are in different classes, where the two classes are under inheritance relation, then the concept is called as method overriding. So if you observe the second point in the slide, final method, it prevents method overriding. So if we don't want to allow the subclasses to declare the same method, just use final keyword here. If you use final keyword, that m cannot be overridden. So no other superclasses cannot use the name m method. So let us see the output before declaring this one. So we are getting 10, 20 and 10 as output. Now I am adding final keyword here, compiling this one. Compiling this one. If I compile this one, it is showing some error. M in B cannot be override M in A. Overridden method is final. So which the meaning of this point is, already there is one method with the name M, and which was defined with the final keyword inside class A, and you have inherited class A here, and you are trying to define the same method. That means you are trying to override the method, but override of that M method is not possible because M is declared as final. So that is the meaning of the second point. We cannot override when a method, when a method is defined with final keyword. And then there is one more thing called as final variable, right? Final variable. let us start writing, start writing something for this final variable. If I have defined, for example, int a equal to 10, right? Int a equal to 10, and then I have updated the value of a to 30. I have updated the value of a to 30. I'm saving the code, compiling the code. Just a second. For example, something called as a equal to a plus 1. I have written this statement. Just a second. Inside the method, I have updated the value of a to 30. And if you observe the output here, the value of a is updated to 30. That's why it has printed 30, 20, and 30, right? So now, so initially the value of a is 10, but inside the method we try to change the value of a to 30. But what happens if I define this as final keyword, and if I try to compile, it's saying that cannot assign a value to final variable a. So we are getting some error at line number 6. At line number 6, we try to modify the value of a to 30, but we cannot do it because the integer a is defined with the final keyword. So this is how we can make the variables as constant by using the final keyword. So the similar thing we have performed in C programming language by using constant keyword, const keyword. So if we define a variable with const keyword inside C programming language, so no one can change the value of that variable. So the value of that variable will be fixed throughout the program. So here also I have defined a variable a which is of integer data type, and I have added the final keyword during the declaration of that variable, and I have assigned the value 10 to that variable. So in throughout the program, if anyone throughout the class, if anyone wants to change the value of a, it will show an error because it has defined as final, it has made constant, right? So those are the 3 uses of final keyword. So final keyword can be used along with the variables, along with the methods, along with the classes. If we use final keyword along with the variables, the value of the variable will be constant throughout the class. And if we use the final keyword along with the methods cannot be overridden. And if you use the final keyword along with the classes, we cannot inherit the classes. Those are the 3 important points of final keyword, right? So these 2 things are for this keyword and super keyword and final keyword, right? What the things are final keyword in the sense, right? Final variables, one second. We can use it along with variables. If you use it along with variables, we can't change the value. And second one, we can use it along the methods. If we use the final along with the methods, we cannot override, right? And we can use the final keyword along with classes. If we use the final keyword along with classes, we cannot inherit. So these are the these are the 3 important points for final keyword, and 3 important points for this keyword, and 3 important points for super keyword. So keep all these things in your mind and please practice the examples on these 3 keywords. And I hope all you get some enough knowledge regarding this final, super, and this keywords, right? So with this, I am going to close today's session, and in the next session, we will see about string class and string buffer class, right? And if you have any queries regarding today's class, you can just make a comment in the comment box of this video. And I really thank each and every listener of this video for being here from the last 40 minutes. And I hope you all got some enough knowledge regarding the super, final, and these keywords. And I request you to please practice the programs. If you practice only, then you will get some perfection regarding the programming in Java, right? And we will meet you in the next session with string and string buffer classes. Thank you once again.